A really important feature on LinkedIn, I believe, is an ability to lock down some degree of privacy. I have to say that anything done on the web these days is pretty much available for everybody to track and drop a pixel in your content. But there are certain features on LinkedIn that are pretty important in terms of locking down your profile. So bear with me a sec while I go through a few of these. So if you've never been here before, then from your homepage, you would go to the setting where you have me at the top and drop down to settings and privacy. Clicking on settings and privacy, it will usually default to the privacy column, which is the second one in from the left. You'll notice that we've got 4 columns: account, ads and communications. So one of the things that I feel really strongly about is who can see my connections. You've probably heard me talk about this before. And I figure that in order to maintain some privacy on LinkedIn and protect my connections and the authenticity of my connections, I want to lock that down to other people being able to access. I know this is possibly against the sort of spirit of LinkedIn, and many people will go, well, isn't that why we're on LinkedIn, to be able to look at each other's connections? Well, it may be for you, but it's not for me. I want to protect my connections. I value them as an audience, and I don't want my connectivity with them to be abused by people with less good intentions, shall we say. So the feature here is I want to actually have this set to only you, and in the default position it would normally be your connections, so you can see your connections, and there are some unscrupulous people out there that connect with people deliberately to get in to see those connections. So I leave that set as only you, and that prevents that happening. That also means I can be free in contacting and connecting with competitors, people in my industry who do a similar thing to me, but at the same time I don't want them to be able to sort of rifle my database. It's like giving my address book away to them, so why would I do that? This is an interesting one. Viewers of this profile also viewed. Now this seems quite innocuous, but you'll know when you go to anybody's profile typically that, let's just type in something randomly here back from the home page, which I can get to by clicking on the logo, of course. If I go to almost anybody's page and I'm just typing this in, let's just type in Keith Black. Let's see what comes up. We type that in. So this is completely random. And we've got a Keith Black there. Let me just see what's happening here. And you'll see that on Keith's profile, people also viewed comes up on the right hand side. Now, what you'll find is people who are similar to Keith will come up on that profile, and guess what, they could be competition to Keith. So Keith's gone to a lot of trouble, let's argue, to invite people to connect with him, to develop a relationship. That's fantastic. So a prospect, imagine, goes to the company, to the page of Keith, and there LinkedIn presents people who are like Keith, which could be very well his competition. So why would we want to do that? That's absolutely mad in my opinion. So one thing we can do is, going back to the settings, is scroll down to viewers of this profile also viewed, which is under the privacy column, so not too far down, 4 down, and we go again to change this, and I have this set to no. So on my profile, I do not want to show other people like me at the point that they've found my profile. So I go to all this trouble to develop a relationship, for them to click on my profile and develop something, and then actually, oh, there goes my competition. Oh, I don't want to do that. So there's another feature of that I would highly advise you locking down. I have to say it's very valuable from a prospective point of view, from my perspective, to be able to see other people's similar characteristics, but not on my own profile. So that's something that I really feel you might have a view on, decide if you want to close it down. Profile viewing options. Here's another privacy feature. Now, I recommend to pretty much everybody to remain in the open view when viewing profiles, i.e., I call it leaving a digital footprint on their profile that I've been. That's part of why we're on LinkedIn, to share and to show interest in each other. But there are certain times when, let's say you're going snooping, you're doing industry intelligence gathering, and you want to remain private when viewing a profile. So here we go onto view profile options, we click on change, and we move ourselves from being fully viewable into the anonymous area here in private mode. Now at this point, when I save that, which it automatically saves, I go back and now I'm viewing profiles without the person that I'm viewing knowing that I visited their profile. To be frank, I don't do that very often. I'm very happy to leave a digital footprint that I've been on somebody's profile, but there's just occasionally when I'm doing research of a particular type, I don't want to confuse the person whose profile I'm viewing, that I will turn myself to anonymous. Now, one really important thing, if you're on a free account, I urge you to go back to the being viewable on LinkedIn. The reason being, as a part of the free account, you have the feature only turned on to you when you've got it turned on yourself of who's viewing your profile. So if, and this is a really, really powerful feature of LinkedIn, you want to know who's viewing you. So on a free account, if you're turned on, you will remain to get to see the people who are viewing you, and that's really valuable intelligence on LinkedIn. So if you go into here temporarily and make yourselves anonymous, do remember to turn yourself back on at the end in order that you continue to see people like yourself. Now, just to finish here, bear with me a second. If you watch this, there are lots of settings in accounts. If we go to communications on the right, quite a lot there too, and in ads, quite a bit there, and in privacy, oh my, just look at the length of the things that we have to sort out. Now, pretty much 100%, the last time anybody went into there on their own profile is whatever. You haven't done it recently, I'm sure. I urge you to sort of like put 20 minutes in your diary and just go through the process of checking all the privacy settings in all of these columns. You find it really valuable. One little occasion was I was talking to somebody on LinkedIn and they weren't showing a profile photo, and I went to them and met them at a networking event and said, oh, by the way, it's interesting you don't have a profile photo. And they said, I certainly do. I said, well, I don't think you do. And I brought up my phone and I showed them the profile, and there indeed on the phone was no profile photo. They'd uploaded a profile photo, but a setting had been turned off which enabled that photo to be shown to anybody but a first degree connection. Okay, really easy thing to get wrong. So there might be other things like that throughout the whole of the profile. So honestly, I think it'd be really valuable time spent, 20 minutes, put an appointment with yourself in the diary and go through all your privacy settings on LinkedIn. I think you'd find it really worthwhile. You're turning off what you want to be turned off. You have turned on what you want turned on, and all in the world is good. So thanks for listening. I hope that's really helpful.